the Millcreek Government Channel, and I'm Judy Zelina. Millcreek Township is responsible for maintaining 220 miles of roads. And when we think of our Millcreek Streets Department, we automatically think of paving or plowing. But there's a lot more involved in this department, and here to tell us about the different projects involved in the Streets Department, we have Joe Chiava, Millcreek Supervisor.
Thank you, Judy.
We have Head Foreman of the Streets Department, Mark Dietz.
Judy.
Thank you guys so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
So what I want to talk about is, first off, guys, I understand in looking at a list that you've given me, that you guys have been pretty busy since the beginning of January this year. It's been an unusual year too, hasn't it?
It has been a very unusual year, number one, with the weather that we've had and the lack of snow. Thank God for that. We have been able to do a lot more. We've been able to do a lot of things that we consider catch-up things. And it's good for the community, it's good for us in the Streets Department, and we can make our community, and it's our community, a lot better, a lot safer, and a lot of exciting things that we have done. And I'm just going to touch, because there are some things this year that have changed a lot. I know that we rearranged the supervisor schedules as liaison, and as a liaison now to the Streets Department. I do hold a meeting every Thursday morning with the staff down there. We talk about what's going on, and I think that with communications that we have, there's so many more things that we used to miss. Not purposely, but one person thinks that another person's doing this, and things do get missed. But now with having those meetings on a weekly basis, I believe, and Mark, you're there, so I believe that the communications lines are opened up a lot better now, and we all know what's going on, and we can get more done.
So it's easier this way with that communication, because you're not assuming that this is the listing that, or the priority, that something's supposed to be taken care of.
Right, that's part of it. And then also, at our meetings, we've had guys from the union in talk about things. We've had foremen in to go over different jobs that are going to be done. So it has been very progressive.
And I think that's important, that everybody is on the same, the same playing field. You guys just know exactly what's going on.
I think one of the exciting things, and I know we have a short amount of time, and Judy twisted her arms to get here, wanted to give us, give you, the people, an update as to what's going on. But I'm just going to run down through this list real quick, and then I'm going to talk about one exciting thing that I really want the people of Millcreek Township to know that's going on. But a lot of the complaints that we have, and starting from January 1st of this year, just with the patches, potholes and stuff like that we're fixing, spill repairs, contractors that we work with, storm sewer jobs that we're doing, lawn repairs, miscellaneous things that we're doing, a lot of berming, the spill cleaning, and not only just spill cleaning. A lot of times we'll find in areas where the pipes have roots in them, and we're doing something a little bit different this year, where we're cutting a lot of that stuff out, because we're going to be buying our own machine to cut those roots out of those pipes and stuff. And we've run into it just recently. A lot of pipe jetting, a lot of driveways with pipes. People will call in and say, my pipe is bad. They have to pay for it, and then we will schedule it to get that pipe in. We have really hit hard this year. A lot of the brush cutting, trees hanging over, working with the school buses and the school district. They'll let us know where those are occurring. Our snowplow drivers, not that much this year, but we were able to take, because of the easy year, and do a lot of brush cutting on the roads. Ditching, sweeping, a lot of the sweeping that we're doing. You do get some dirt with the snow. We all have it on our driveways. We clean that out. The water complaints that we have, and then sanitary sewers that we are putting in, that we are starting to do again in the sewer department, working with the Streets Department. But one thing that's not on the list that I really feel very excited about this year is we have a new paint truck. And let me just say this. If you're standing still, those two guys that are on that truck will paint you yellow. we thought
very
we
enthusiastic.
Had very enthusiastic because they know, and I think that's the one thing is that the pride that our workers have here at Millcreek Township, they know that it makes it a lot safer when those double yellow lines are on the roads, and you know, it is something new, so it's exciting. But in a traffic department, we've taken that traffic department and we've taken everything and brought it together now. So the line painting now is in that department. Okay. All of our signs are in that department. You know, traffic lights and loop detection and the traffic signals and the stop signs and street signs and everything is now under one roof. Dick Whitbread is the manager for that department with Jeff Tenney and Joe Bizzaro. Those guys are doing an outstanding job, along with the streets department and all the other projects that we're doing. So if you stand still on a Millcreek Township road, be careful, because if they see you, you might just be yellow when we're all done.
What's going to be nice also, when we get done paving a road, we won't have to wait half a year for PennDOT or get a contractor to come in. They'll be able to line them fairly quick. That
was my question. Yeah. We didn't paint the lines on our roads. We didn't do that, or did we subcontract that?
It was a lot of the agility program with the state, but again, those trucks are coming out of Oil City. So, you know, to come to Erie to do one road, like Mark says.
It was like when they had time?
We have our own paving crew.
When they were in the area.
Yeah, when they would be in the area, then they would do it for us. But if you're paving and you're trying to pave right up until the last minute and you want to finish up a road, that paint truck in Oil City might be put away. And there is only one guy locally around here that we could call on, you know, and what we understand this year is he may be retiring. So where do you go then? Because we'd call Pittsburgh and Cleveland. There's some big companies, but if you're not doing miles of road, they don't want to send their trucks all the way over here.
No,
and if they do, you're going to really pay for it. So now we've worked out a deal with Summit Township. They had the truck. We now are the new owners of that truck. And I've already had other townships contact me and said, you know, we're in the same boat. If the state can't get us done and Painter Bob goes out of business, what do? Can you help us? And you know what? We do. A lot of people look to us as being the big brother out of townships. So we do work with them, and we are trying to work with them. One of the things that I think, and I know there's a lot on this list, but one of the things I really want to touch on is the catch basins and the program that we've had here in the last, I'd say the last 10 years. You know, one of the things that I've really tried to achieve is, you know, for a while there, you've seen all the orange cones out. And it looked like that was a new flower that was in Millcreek Township.
There's a game for the neighborhood kids. How long can it stay there?
How long can they stay up? Yeah.
We've had people put Christmas lights on them.
And it was to the point where they were bad. But you have to remember too that when a lot of these catch basins, and there's over 5,000 of these things that we know about in Millcreek Township, they were all built by hand. They're blocked with mortar, and they were built. Trucks have become a lot heavier. Your garbage trucks, instead of being single axles, are now tandems and triaxles. When they hit those things and they're deteriorating, they just blow them up right away. What we're doing now, though, is we have a deal, and working with the union, we have contractors that will come in and they will dig them out completely, and they'll put a solid in there. If it's too difficult because of all the pipes that come into that basin, they'll actually form that up and pour it solid concrete block with a regular bicycle grate on top of it. And we're starting to get those done more and more. Right now, I checked before the program today, and I can tell you that over the 10-year period, we had over 600 basins that were bad, and we've accomplished that right now. And not all of them are solids because we're still out there fixing them. If our crew sees something where it's 2 blocks below the top, we will dig those out and replace them with a solid. We still do maintain them, repair them, and try to get them fixed. And I got to say, Mark, it's looking good. It's hard to find catch basins out there right now. Now there are some, and when you may see them, there's one in particular that I'm thinking about in the Ruth Street area. That's a storm sewer that has to be replaced. and we're looking at getting that done. But in the wintertime, you don't want to dig up a storm sewer because you don't know what the winter's going to be like, and you can't make sure that that plow is not going to dig into that road if you just patch it. So a lot of times you do have to wait until you can get better weather and we can get something done like that.
So you're working on maintaining these, but what people have to realize, sometimes it's not just an easy fix. Sometimes there's a lot more involved to it.
We had a complaint for catch basin repair up off of Cobblestone. Sent a foreman up to look at it, and it was actually the pipe outside the catch basin had a hole in it. So we had the barrel on it. It was over winter. In the spring here, we had the sewer department has a camera they can put in the pipes. So we asked him to do that, see how bad the pipe was, if it was just a fix right there at the catch basin or the full thing. He couldn't get through because it was plugged. So we had to send a truck up, clean the pipe out. This is an ongoing thing, why barrels are there. And they cleaned the pipe out. He tried to do it again, but the pipe was so collapsed he couldn't get through. So now, rather than a catch basin repair, we're going to have to dig up the whole pipe, and that's why the barrel's been sitting there.
Okay.
There is one thing that I do need, and I know this time flies by so fast. One thing I do want the people of Millcreek Township to know, and something that's come up recently, is that there is a new rule, there's a new order that's been given to us by a federal judge. We now, in Millcreek Township, for the next 10 years, we will be spending approximately $150,000 to $180,000 every year for the next 10 years to do curb cuts and ramps. Now, I've heard a lot of people that have called, they've talked to me when I'm on the road, and they say, why in the world are you doing all these? We don't have anybody in a wheelchair in our neighborhood. Well, number one, we have to follow the law, just like anybody else. But when I say that we're spending between $150,000 and $180,000, that's because the federal judge mandated us to do this and get them caught up. So what does that do? Number one, you've just taken $180,000 out of my budget that we would be repairing more roads. Do the roads need it? Yes, they do. There's a lot of roads, a lot of repairs that we need to be making, and there's a lot that we are going to have to start cutting out. When you remove $180,000 out of a budget when you were planning on doing more roads, that's leaving you really short. Will we get them done? Yes, we are. I just hope that people will be patient with us. We're trying to do some things that help reduce our cost so we can do more roads. But it is going to be a problem. That's why you'll see the crews, because we subcontract those out because it is a specialty. You've got to follow the guidelines for the state under the ADA rules and regulations. So it is something where, you know, percentage of the road, percentage of the grade, percentage of the sidewalks, passing lanes on sidewalks and stuff like that, they have to be done. It's not that you know, we're against it, because we're not. I would help anybody. But yes, sometimes a lot of people think it's so foolish as to, I had one guy that was living in a neighborhood, and he's an attorney, and he says, well, you need to fight harder. Well, when the judge orders it to be done, I don't know how much harder you can fight unless you go to jail. Now, they do have to give you 3 square meals a day, and they have to provide for your health care, but
always
you know,
bright side.
Yeah, always a bright side. But if you see us out there, if you see crews out there doing these sidewalks and curb cuts and ramps and stuff like that, it's something that we have to do, that we were ordered to do.
This has been a real eye-opener, though, too, working with voices, you know, things that I didn't think about. The angle of the sidewalk and the angle of the road, if it's too steep, a wheelchair could get hung up there, you know, and the wheels don't move. You know, a gap like this that you don't think about, you know, they could get their wheel stuck in that, so.
I have a question. I see some corners have the bump outs, and the sidewalks have been done, but not all of them.
Are you talking about the bump outs like the city put in? Because we don't have those.
No, not, okay.
You're talking about the little knobs on the end of the road. Okay.
What are those called? Is there a name to them?
There is
I guess
a
I
name.
just called them bump outs because, but no, it's those little bumps on a sidewalk. I see
the plates.
Yeah.
Yes, I see some areas have it, but not every single corner. Are you working your way through the township And how do you determine which ones get priority, which corners get priority over others?
Well, one of the big things is we're working with the attorneys. Just yesterday, we were at a road in Millcreek in the Kearsarge area. We had that on the agenda for paving, but now trying to work with Voices for Independence, working with the law and trying to do things, we have to reprofile the road itself because of the angle of the intersections and where they have to cross. We can't just go in and mill and pave that road anymore. We've got to make that a change in that road for the angle of the road to meet the curb ramps that are coming out. But those little bumps that are on the end of the road are really for those that are blind. When they actually get to the end of that road, they feel those, and that's an indicator that that's the area where the road ends, and that you've got traffic now where the end of that is.
I didn't know that. Thank you.
But they have to be on every one that we do, and now it's you try to make up your list of roads that need to be done. You try to look at and see if are the intersections and crosswalks now done, and it's really a coordination thing where we're trying to get a lot of the intersections done now prior to us doing the roads so that we can blend the asphalt into those to make it a lot safer for anyone that's in a wheelchair.
Okay, thank you for explaining that to our viewers. I learned a lot. I didn't realize how much was involved. Guys, I'd like to go over and ask a couple questions on the long list of things that you have been working on. The first one I want to talk about, and I think a lot of our viewers, everybody has seen potholes. Everybody knows there's...
Not in Millcreek.
I'm leaving.
No, all I want to know is, because you guys take care of them right away. You really do. Now, do you only go out and fix a pothole or fix a patch of road with a complaint?
Well, now, part of this year with the nice weather,
yes,
and also we got some new hires to fill in some spaces, people that have retired, and so we have a larger workforce. So we were able to have at least one patch crew out daily. At sometimes we put 3 out, depending on the workload. And that's what we try and keep at least one out, checking the township, but if we do get a call on one, we try and get it done within 24 hours.
Okay.
Hopefully that day it'll be done. They'll pop up overnight. I mean, big holes, so
and then when
we don't want anyone hitting them. They're dangerous for bicyclists,
exactly.
They're dangerous for motorcyclists, so safety is the issue here.
And one thing with that too is people have said, well, you know what, I seen the patch truck out and they were patching a hole here, but just down the block there was another hole and they didn't get that one. And they're upset. And you try to explain that, number one, it is a liability. When someone calls in and makes us aware, and please, I'm asking, if there's a pothole, please call us and let us know.
Because that's how you find out.
You're the eyes of Millcreek Township, because we can't be everywhere. Right. So please let us know if there's something out there that needs to be patched. We'll come out and we'll get it taken care of. But when you do get a call, and that call comes in and it's a bad pothole, we have a responsibility and obligation to get that thing taken care of within a 24-hour period, and we have to do that. So when you see a pothole, that crew that's out there, they have a list of those that were called in, they have to get to. And if there's only one crew out there, they may do that one that's right there that they were sent to do, and they're thinking about getting to the next one because it has to be done within a timely manner. So they may drive right by that other one, not seeing it even, not being able to take the time to drive slowly down through and check the whole road. But they know they have a list of them that they have to get that day. So they may be on the north side of our township today, and they may have to go over to Bell Valley and get a couple of them tomorrow if you only have one crew that's out there.
Another situation, Judy, if people call the streets department phone number, 833-4527, on the weekend, you're going to get a voice machine. If it's a bad pothole, please call the police department. We have a foreman on 24/7. They're not in the office though, but the police department will get a hold of them and they'll have a crew come in and take care of it.
Okay.
And it's
that is nice to know.
I think that number is important too, because we don't want them calling the 911 center to get a police officer. They need to call the 833-7777 number, and then the dispatchers will call our foreman, and he'll bring a crew in and get it taken care of.
Okay.
If it's on the weekends.
Okay.
But like
and that's
Mark
just
said,
the weekends.
Yeah.
Or after hours.
Or after hours. During the work hours, you can get a hold of the secretary. Okay, you guys have been so busy. There's one thing I do want to, you mentioned all these things, and our time's almost over, Joe. You know how that
flies
goes.
by.
But I want to ask you real quickly. I see on here storm sewer. Now I have to tell you, a lot of residents, when they hear storm sewer, they automatically think of the water and sewer department. So I see this on your list, and I'm saying, what type of storm sewer repair do you do?
Okay. Everybody knows where the catch basins are.
Yes. Okay. Now we know those. I know what to do with those. Those are where the orange cones are.
They're
used to be.
They're connected with pipes.
Okay.
Those are storm sewer. They take storm water.
Okay.
Water from storms.
So it's the pipes, is what you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Because I saw that on there, and I know you guys are responsible for that. But I know a lot of our viewers might say, "What are you doing? What do you mean sewer? What are you doing, our streets department?"
Yeah, that's what it is. We used to use metal pipe, and from 20 years on, they start rusting out, and those are repairs that we have to do.
One thing about the storm sewers, though, is we do have a list of storm sewers that we try to can't even talk today, my tongue's tied, that are prioritized. And with that, though, things do change. Just like in every other business, things change. We have a list that we try to accomplish. One of the things that come up, if someone's flooding, that is a priority to us. We will try then to get out there, and someone will say, well, I was on the list for 5 years. Well, yeah, and if we had flooding in a neighborhood and someone's getting flooded out, that is a priority. We'll get it taken care of, because a lot of the storm sewers that we're trying to fill in ditches, when someone bought that house, it had a ditch in front of it, and really a ditch will hold more water and protect better than if you put a pipe in, because now you've got engineering that you have to do to make sure that it's a right-sized pipe. We're doing a job right now. We sent letters out to the people in that neighborhood, because all the houses are down below the road. And where does water go? Always goes downhill unless you pump it. We told them they wanted to have the storm sewer system put in, because they didn't want ditches in front of their houses anymore. Well, they were on a list for quite a while. We're doing it, but we sent letters out to them saying, if you get flooded, don't call us because you want that ditch filled in. We're going to do the best we can to get it done and try not to let water come down there. So what we've done with this project this year is not only did we put the gravel in and put the pipe in, we also put a perforated pipe in, and we put more gravel on the top so that the water that does come down during a rain will go into the gravel, then go down into the pipe and travel to the catch basins. But a lot of times when people say they want that ditch filled in front of their house, they can get it done, even if they don't wait for the township. But they must call the township engineering department to make sure that they're not going to flood somebody else down on either side of them. So they can do that themselves if they don't want to wait for us. But they have to get it approved by the engineering staff first.
Well, I find it interesting. I see some of these projects on here that honestly you wouldn't have been able to get if we hadn't had such a mild winter, correct?
Correct.
You got a head start on everything.
Yep.
So, I mean, I even see lawn repair.
Somebody likes us.
I mean, lawn repair. I mean, really, that usually doesn't happen till May, June. You know,
and
you're able to get a
they're working on storm sewer jobs that we did last year, where we tore up the lawns and plow damage.
And didn't get a chance. Didn't get a chance to do it. Well, our time is coming to an end. Thank you so much for taking the time, letting our viewers know really what is involved in the streets department. As I said, it's not just plowing and paving. There's a lot more involved, and you guys do a super job. I just have to thank you. I drive on these roads every day to work, and I've been very happy. If ever I had a concern, it was always taken care of.
And I've heard you even called in on potholes.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Keeping us honest, Judy Zelina.
And that's what's really important, is that we can't be everywhere. The residents of Millcreek Township are the eyes that we have that are out there to call us and let us know. We will try to do anything we can to help people, but we need to know what the problem is first.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Thank you, Mark, for joining.
Thank you.
Viewers, again, if you have any concerns, please feel free to give them a call. Thank you for watching the Millcreek Government Channel. Until next time, have a wonderful day.